Welcome to This Explainer. So, if you're dreading that first dance, we're diving into some expert ballroom dance insights today. We're going to take what feels like a stressful chore and transform it into a highly manageable 2-month countdown.
Now, if you're feeling totally overwhelmed by that timeline, let's just take a collective deep breath. I know, between booking caterers and tasting cakes, 2 months sounds like a ticking clock, right? But according to our source material, it is actually the absolute perfect amount of time to get ready without burning yourselves out.
Because here's the thing, a flawless first dance is absolutely doable with a structured 8-week plan. With this clear 2-month approach and some consistent practice focusing on timing, transitions, and just overall comfort, you're going to be completely ready to actually enjoy your big moment instead of dreading it.
But before we get into the weeds, we have to ask ourselves, what does success actually look like? Before we learn a single step, we really need to set some realistic expectations and clearly define our ultimate goal for the big day. Because, if you don't know what you're aiming for, you'll just end up overcomplicating everything.
And the source defines success beautifully. It's simply looking natural, hitting the beat consistently, and remembering the routine under wedding day nerves. It's not about perfection. It's definitely not about pulling off some crazy professional level lift. It's really just about confidently remembering your steps, even when those inevitable wedding day nerves kick in.
So our journey together is a chronological 8-week roadmap. We've got weeks 1 and 2 for foundation, weeks 3 and 4 for transitions, weeks 5 and 6 for performance, and weeks 7 and 8 for rehearsal. We're moving methodically from raw foundation to polished performance, breaking it down into these 4 distinct phases so you can master one element before rushing into the next.
All right, let's start with step 1, the setup and music. You need to lock in your arrangement early. This setup phase means committing to your exact song and version as early as humanly possible, just so your timeline actually works. Now, if you're open to editing your song, try to aim for a length between 2.5 to 4 minutes. That is the absolute sweet spot to confidently rehearse for a first dance without it dragging on too long for you or, let's be honest, for your guests.
Once you've got that perfect track length locked in, you've got to map it out. To make practice way faster, sit down, listen to your track, and mark the key timestamps. Note exactly when a slow section happens, when you maybe want to attempt a lift or a turn, and precisely where that dramatic final pose is going to land. Doing this up front literally saves you hours of starting and stopping the music later on.
Moving right along to weeks 1 and 2, the foundation. Here, you want to prioritize comfort over complexity. It turns out that simple steps with clear footwork actually look far more effortless and elegant than complicated choreography that you can't fully control. Think about it. If you choose a routine style that matches your actual comfort level, you're going to look like a natural dancer. But if you overreach, well, the audience is only going to see your stress, and we definitely want to avoid that.
So in these first 2 weeks, your early milestones are super specific. Learn your basic posture. Practice simply moving to that first recognizable beat without freezing up. Seriously, getting started is often the absolute hardest part. And if you're dancing with a partner, rigidly assign those left and right roles. Decide who starts on what foot and who's leading the turns.
As you build this foundation, you really need a feedback loop. Which brings us to a super effective phone recording strategy. Step 1, watch your recording once to aggressively correct mistakes. Things like timing, spacing, maybe awkward hand placement. But then, crucially, step 2, watch a second time, just to see what actually looks good. Seeing your own progress directly builds your confidence, and that is a total game changer.
Next up, weeks 3 and 4, the polish and transitions. This is all about transitioning from learning to refining. By this point, you aren't really learning the dance anymore, you're polishing it. And to do this efficiently, the source strongly recommends something called beat-based practice. This basically means breaking the dance into manageable chunks, like 8 or 16 counts, instead of exhausting yourselves running the entire routine from start to finish every single time. It's about working smarter, right? Slowing down for those quieter moments and easing into turns without feeling rushed.
And hey, if you have a partner, this is the time to really nail down your consistency. Focus heavily on where your hands and arms naturally rest, how smoothly you're changing from an open to a closed position, and how you communicate right before a turn. Locking in this kind of nonverbal communication right now, it absolutely prevents those awkward, scrambling moments on the actual wedding day.
Okay, weeks 5 and 6, performance confidence. Our subtitle here is Making the Dance Look Smooth When Tired.
During these weeks, you need to start practicing with the actual energy you want to project in front of your guests. To do this, you can use this brilliantly structured performance script. Step 1.
Do a full run-through just to test your flow. Step 2. Stop and correct only the top 2 or 3 issues. Don't nitpick every little thing. And step 3. Do 2 full practices focusing purely on presentation, your smiles, your eye lines. This is also a fantastic time to maybe book a one-time professional coaching session just to quickly tighten up your turn mechanics.
Almost there. Weeks 7 and 8, the dress rehearsal. This is where we start rehearsing for real wedding day conditions. We've reached the final countdown. Practice now transitions into a full-on dress rehearsal. You've got a checklist. You must practice exactly how you'll enter and exit the floor, especially if you're coming down an aisle. Rehearse with any props, like sparklers or, a massive dress train. And most importantly, do a test run in your actual wedding shoes, or at least a very close match, just to make sure your turns and timing don't suddenly feel totally different.
Now, during the actual week of your wedding, you'll want to follow a very specific routine so you maintain that muscle memory without burning yourselves out. Step 1. Do 2 short 10 to 20-minute practices focusing just on the hard sections. Step 2. Do 1 complete run-through without stopping, no matter what happens. Just keep going. And step 3. 1 slow, smooth confidence practice just so you feel great.
Finally, the day of strategy. Let's talk about managing those final nerves.
On the big day itself, the heavy lifting is completely done. Now it's all about just keeping your body ready. Make sure to prioritize a light physical warm-up with some basic stretching and slow steps. It sounds simple, but it will significantly reduce any body stiffness and improve your balance before you step out onto that floor.
And as you're standing there waiting to hear your song start, remember this fantastic quote from the source. You're dancing, not auditioning. Keep your expectations friendly. Your guests love you, they are totally rooting for you, and you're out there to celebrate, not to be scored by some panel of judges.
Ultimately, a simple routine can be unforgettable if you're synced, relaxed, and present with each other. The secret to a great first dance really isn't complex footwork. If a highly structured 2-month plan can completely de-stress something as nerve-wracking as a wedding dance, well, what other wedding day chaos could you solve with just a little bit of targeted strategy?